hundreds of thousands, and I mean hundreds of thousands of businesses have been set up in Dubai, and it's incredible to see the rate of growth right now. And today, guys, we're joined by Amin. I mean, I talk a lot about, in my videos, I've got a very strong relationship with Amin and his company Nimbus. They're a boutique consultancy company who specialize in helping businesses get registered in Dubai and build structures. So we're joined by Amin today. So welcome.
Thank you.
We're going to dive in a little bit and sort of give, a bit more of a detailed overview. It's almost like a series, this, because, I've spoke so much, I've kind of given a broad overview of getting businesses set up in the UAE, but, I'm not the specialist, and I make that very clear. But today we're with the specialist. So Amin, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So first of all, let's talk about the most obvious question. Why are so many businesses and, actually being set up over here in Dubai? Tell me about that from your thoughts.
Right. So, there's a lot of factors to this, actually. Multiple factors. Obviously, some of the main reasons for that is UAE strategic location. Right in the center between the East and the West. You have extremely friendly business policies. The fact that you can open up a company, get a residency and a corporate bank account within a month and a half. Tax incentives. Obviously, since the 1st of June this year, the corporate tax came into effect, which is 9%. But that alone is still subject to, the way companies are being operated, the structures that they're in. So there is a possibility based on the type of business that they're actually running, they could be incentivized as well as a small tax relief. So some of the other reasons, obviously, is the diverse labor pool, essentially. The UAE it's very, very cosmopolitan. You have people from all over the world, from all walks of life. So it's very, very easy for companies to get extremely talented people. The other reason I think as well is the free zones. So the free zones allow extremely beneficial advantages to the foreign investors, whereby they could set up a company and have 100% ownership of those entities. So all of these things actually, are the reasons why it's so good for the companies or even individuals that are looking to either expand or have a presence in the UAE, because they can benefit from all of these things, essentially.
Of course they can. And there might be a couple of our clients looking at this right now who I've actually referred to you, which is incredible. Obviously, you help a lot of my clients because like I said, we've got a very strong collaboration and, it's part of the package, right? We don't just sell them property. We don't just sell individuals property. We help them build formations, company structures and stuff like that. So what type of people do you think are like the main demographic of who is setting up their business right now? Now, the answer to that question might be something, along the lines of, they might be online gurus, or they might be, because there are certain types of people who it wouldn't benefit, So what type of person are we looking at?
So that's actually a very good question, Joe. So at the moment, I've been getting a lot of clients from your side specifically for the real estate. These people that are coming in, buying properties, portfolios of properties, and they essentially want to run that as a business so that they could get dividends from those assets that they own as either a holiday home or a rental yield, essentially, as dividends. Now, that's just one side of clientele. It actually is a lot more other types of businesses that are coming in. So you've got your, import and export. You've got your marketing companies, people that essentially are looking to have management consultancies. Anyone that wants to basically benefit from great tax incentives and the ease of being in the UAE so that they could access the Middle East, North Africa region. You've got the South East Asia close to you as well. So essentially it could be for anyone and everyone. And the cost of setting up is so cheap that it just makes everything a lot more attractive.
Yeah. And in terms of, people setting up businesses here for property, do you think it's necessary in all cases? Because, I've got some clients who I've actually said to them, like, if you're just going to be buying one property, then, maybe it's not super necessary.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, not many people just buy one property, especially if they're an investor, right?
Yeah.
Their first property, maybe just be their first one. But like once they get the feel and the drive and the rush for buying a property in Dubai, they generally buy more, right?
Yeah.
So tell me what you think.
So first we need to understand the properties that they're buying. What do they want out of that? Are they essentially just bringing in foreign investment so they could park their money into assets that essentially could be high rental yields? Or do they also want a residency? Do they also want a corporate bank account? So if they want the entire structure, they need to have a company. They need to set up a company, because if I was, hypothetically speaking, if I'm John sitting in the UK and I'm buying properties in the UAE, let's just say that, midway, I would like to sell that property now. And I've made a certain premium on it. And would I want that money back to be deposited in the UK bank account? Probably not. So I would want the presence to be in the UAE. So for that, you need to have a company so that you could get a corporate bank account linked to it. And the only way you can get a corporate account linked to it is that if you are a UAE resident.
I agree. So if somebody was actually buying a property and then they wanted to sell it in the UAE, I've spoke about this to a few clients. It's not really avoidable. If you're trying to just send money back to the UK, for example, you're going to be subject to tax. But is it actually easier if they have a company out here to figure ways around that?
So it's easier if you have the company out here because essentially you could make your business in the UAE and you could have the entire substance in the UAE. So the money that you're bringing into the country, essentially you'll be keeping it in the country. You're making that money run for you, essentially. The properties that you own, the businesses that you're looking to have. And it's a very good point that you've mentioned as well. So if someone's looking to buy a property, they're not only going to be buying one property. They would like to have a type of business as well that can give them a second passive income, and the fact that it's so cheap to have a company set up, why wouldn't they?
Yeah, no, I agree. And let's talk about now. So everyone's sitting on the edge of the seats. They're probably thinking, how much does this cost? So like I said, you'll probably see online that you can get this super cheap. But, there's a reason why I truly believe in Nimbus, because I would not, I want my clients to get the best service. So I want you to talk about the cost and what, how it works.
Sure. So, we've all seen how, companies out there are promoting, you can set up a company for 10,000 dirhams. But what they really don't realize is that would just be the cost of setting up a business license. And what are you going to do with just a business license? You do need the rest of the things with it as well, such as your corporate account, your residency. So, in reality, that most of the companies that are promoting that specifically are just reeling in the clients. But really and truly, I would say to set up a company based on what every company or individuals are looking to do, it could really depend. You're looking at anywhere from $10,000 to $15,000, and that includes your company license. That includes the cost of facilitating your UAE residency, because you would have to get your medical done. You would need to get your biometrics done, the cost of issuance of the Emirates ID. And then lastly, you do need a corporate bank account. Now, corporate bank account is actually one of the most difficult things at the moment to set up because the banks are becoming a lot more strict and stringent. The compliance is over the roof. So they would like to see substance. So us at Nimbus Consultancy, we have a very strong banking team that can facilitate and assist clients with setting up corporate accounts for them. So in reality, it really depends what the clients are looking to do and what the structure is. But if it's just a company with a residency and have a corporate bank account, you're looking at anywhere between $8,000 to $10,000. But if they're looking to buy properties and the structure is a little bit more complex, it could go up to 12 to 15.
Yeah. And what you've just said about, like the extra level of care and due diligence you do for your clients, and you go into, building company formations and structures, that suits and accommodates their specific goals and whatever they want to do with their business. That's kind of how I see myself with my own business in terms of real estate. Because I'm sure, like you said, there are people out there who'll charge 10,000 dirhams to get this business license, false promise you the world. But same with the real estate brokers, they'll false promise you to buy this property. And to be honest, you're probably not going to hear off them again. Communication will be terrible. And that's one of the problems I see in the UAE and Dubai, is that actually customer care isn't as good as it could be. But it's okay because, we deliver that and then we become the best, right?
Sure. And, by the way, I have to say that is a very good point. And unfortunately, it's a bit of a shame that people don't realize that, it's not just that one transaction. It's all about transparency. It's all about trust. It's all about really informing and educating the client in terms of what the process is, what the structures would be like, giving them the entire, forevision in terms of how everything is going to be laid out. Because if they're comfortable with the process and they understand what the timeline is, they'll know, they'll understand. And they'll be happy to sort of oblige and continue doing business with you. So I feel, typically myself, and I have to say, everyone in the company and Nimbus Consultancy, they're very meticulous about these things. They really make sure that the clients understand. But not only that, we want to understand what they want to do. And then we basically structure setups according to what fits them. Because every client's different. Every need for those clients are different, Someone is actually looking to do genuine business onshore in the UAE. They would need a physical office, physical premises. Someone else would just basically would like to be stationed in the UK or elsewhere in their home country. They don't want to come out to the UAE and have absolute minimal involvement, but they would like to have a setup whereby they could invoice their clients or have real estate where they could take dividends. So it really depends, you know. And this is what makes us very unique as opposed to the other companies out there, because we're very, very boutique and we really sort of understand the pain points in terms of what's required and how we can help and how we could structure those setups for the clients where they could run comfortably for the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years.
It's a good point. You know, I say this to every client I have a phone call with. I don't just say what we're going to do in the short term. I always stress about the long term, making a 5-year plan, whether they're going to be buying one property now, refinancing it, buying the second property, doing a restoration project, buying the next property, and constantly evolving so that in the next 5 years, we've essentially hit sort of, you know, a kind of target that we wanted to hit. And that's all we spoke about in the initial phone call. And I think that's the similarities between me and you. We actually care about what the clients want. And that's why we work so well together. Absolutely. And that's why we're sat here today.
Absolutely.
So, Amin, thank you so much for this chat. For everybody else watching, they're going to be seeing various other episodes with me and you, where we're going to dive a little bit deeper into company formations and structures. Sure. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. See you on the next one.